Francesca, thank you so much for doing this. I know you're super busy. I kind of wanted to jump back in time. So 2015 Olympia,
Okay.
broad question to start. What was that like?
Oh my gosh. The experience was surreal. I mean, when I started competing, that was what I wanted to do. And my goal really was to be on the Olympia stage. And so when I actually qualified, I was just, I guess, giddy is the best way to describe it. I mean, if you look at my pictures, my face is just like so happy because I couldn't believe I was actually on that stage. It was an amazing feeling. And so ever since then, I've just been very like gun ho to get back on that stage and compete there again.
Was there anything that surprised you on stage, backstage, expo, meet the Olympians?
Um, the size of the show, I think, I know it's a really big show, but competing and going from, one state to another, different shows have different sizes as far as, when there's in conjunction with an expo, when it's a pro am show, or when it's a show where it's just mostly pros of different classes. This is really a very grand show. So I was very surprised with how huge it was. Just to walk through the expo was quite a feat in itself. And then the amount of people there, and just one of the things that I was always attracted to with the sport was just everyone's very positive and very friendly. And I saw that there backstage at the show, at the meet and greets, in the expos. It's just such a good experience to really kind of network with everyone and get everyone's opinion on different things and just kind of get to know people in general. So I had a lot of fun with it, and I think that was just kind of the biggest surprise is it's basically a huge expo that you get to really expose yourself to the sport in general and the community, I should say.
Your first national show was in 2012. I'm
Yes.
wondering if we can even jump back to that, back in
Yeah.
time. What was that like?
Well, that show, I went into the show and I told myself, because I know it's a big show, I honestly didn't even think I was ready for a national show because um, I had been coerced into doing it. And I thought, why not? Why not give it a try? Because it was my first year competing ever. And I actually got added to the first call out at my first national show. And so I was all kinds of excited. I didn't make top five at that show, which I was bummed about. But then I told myself, I'll give it another go. This is my first year. I didn't come into this show expecting much, so I shouldn't be so hard on myself. But I really learned a lot from that show as far as how things are run, and I guess kind of more about myself and how I need to present myself, because it's very different from your small shows where you're up against maybe, I don't know, anywhere from like 5 to 15 to 20 girls. But at a national show, you're really competing at a level where there could be up to 40 girls in your class. So how do you make yourself stand out amongst 40 people? So that was definitely a huge learning experience. And if you've done a lot of local shows and you want to kind of take it to the next level, I would encourage everyone and anyone to take a try at a national show and see if it's something that they can kind of work on and work towards their pro card.
That's really cool. There's a side by side comparison picture you posted on Instagram
Hmm.
of your glutes in 2012
Yes.
and your glutes in 2015. It's
Yeah.
an amazing. This is because the comparison is so different.
Yes.
It's amazing. What goes through your mind when you see that picture?
Is that me? um, a lot. I honestly, I look at it and I'm very proud of myself because I had to put in a lot of hours and a lot of work, and I still do it to this day. Everything I've done to that point, I continue to do, and then some, to continue to grow. I just think as an athlete in general. So, pride, and then I also just I've learned a lot. I've learned so much over that period of time that I find everything that I've learned that has helped me, not just necessarily like this is how you lift or here's a glute exercise for you to do, but more of like the mental aspects as far as competing goes. I've found quite a passion for helping other people um, set up their mentality for success when it comes to not competing per se, but maybe just trying to transform their body. So I think in that the picture itself speaks for itself, I guess. You know, you can see like, wow, hardly any glutes and like massive, change there. From that, it's not just your physical, but a lot of internal how I think about things. Instead of thinking, I get an example would be instead of thinking, oh darn it, I ate that piece of cake, I guess I'll just call it a cheat weekend. To really being able to say, you know what, I had that piece of cake, I enjoyed it. It's time for me to get back on it and get going again. So I mean, it's things like that that I've really kind of learned about and take pride in, because those are the things people don't necessarily hear or know or see, but it all comes a part of that little package. So
What do you think the key is to step on stage with excellent stage presence, to have that swag on stage?
uh, everyone says, confidence. It really comes down to your confidence in yourself and your abilities. When you start to doubt yourself, then it does show on stage. I mean, it might not be apparent, like plastered all over your face, like, oh, that girl really isn't feeling very good about herself. But it comes down to practicing, knowing what angles look best on your body. What are you trying to highlight? What are you trying to maybe mask a little bit? I guess, for example, I have a really long torso. So how I position myself is to try to maybe not elongate my torso so much. And even just what I wear, my suit that I wear on stage, I have it properly fitted to sit on my body a certain way. Because if I were, one of the feedback I actually got from one of the judges when I first earned my pro card was that I wear my suit too low. So looking back at my picture, I 100% agree. I was just kind of like, yes, Sandy, you're right. My suit is definitely too low. It makes my torso really, really long. So I had to modify that. And then just being able to look at yourself from an outside perspective and be willing to try to be uncomfortable for a little bit until you can get comfortable with poses, with walking. Some girls love heels and some girls hate heels, and the heels are very important because if you can't walk in heels, it has a lot to do, especially with bikini, as a part of your presentation, because all the girls up there look amazing. Everyone's bringing their A game. So if that's the one thing that's dividing, you between another girl, and that's the only thing stopping you, I would definitely recommend you work your butt and practice that so that you don't have to worry about it next time. And so if it comes down to that one thing, you can say, I did everything I can to bring, my best walk that I possibly could, or whatever it is. And then I think just you knowing that you've done everything you can and practice as much as you can and put a lot of effort into it, I think you knowing that you did that internally is a part of being confident. It's kind of like going back in the old days when you did speeches in class, and if you didn't actually prepare yourself for the speech, everyone was scared of it. That was me anyways. So when I'm prepared, I am confident in myself. When I'm not prepared, I definitely feel like I messed everything up and it didn't go my way, and it definitely shows. It's a reflection of the results you get. So
That's interesting. So you qualified for the Olympia this year?
yes, I did.
Kudos to you. And you just moved to Vegas. I think that's interesting. I mean, are you how far are you away from the Orleans arena?
I'm probably about a 30-minute commute. I'm not terribly far. So I'm definitely close to the strip. However, not so close to where it's like that crazy Vegas scene that you all see in the movies and or when you're vacationing in Vegas. That's kind of like the area everyone likes to stay in. I'm actually starting to try to explore Vegas a little bit more and get to know the city and the other aspects aside from the strip that it has to offer.
Francesca, tell us about Bikini Bella. What's that?
A Bikini Bella is actually a competition suit line that my mother and I started. We started it when I first competed. I guess when I first started competing, I had done a show. The suit that I wore was not complimentary to my skin tone. It just really washed me out. And I had another show that I had already registered for and was planning to do 2 weeks after. And that's not really a lot of time to get a suit, especially a competition suit. And my mom, growing up in the Philippines, is a seamstress. So she's like, I'll give it a shot. So she actually made me my suit for that show, which was the Emerald Cup in Seattle, Washington. And it turned out great. And we decided to just kind of see if we could make another one. So she made me another one, and we would learn from making the suits. Actually, she would make me a suit, we would alter the pattern, she would make me another suit, we would alter the pattern, and it was just kind of like improve upon everything. And a lot of people started asking us, oh, hey, can you make us a suit, or can you make me a suit? And so we decided, hey, why not just, kind of start our own suit line. And we decided to make it more on a custom fit based off of a customer's measurements versus a general small, medium, large type of thing. Because of like what I was saying, the feedback I got was, oh, her suit's too low. Well, you're wearing connectors that are really short. It's kind of hard to jack your suit bottoms up a little higher so that it flatters your figure. So it was kind of like a labor of love between my mom and I. We both just had an interest, and I think it was a way for us to really bond. And we still to this day do it together. We've grown a bit, but since it's just me and my mom, and then we also have a couple of other girls who help us with the stonework, we're kind of mostly, Oregon based, and we have a couple of other affiliates that work with us in different states as well. But we're definitely enjoying the experience together, which is really nice to share with her.
That's great. Good for you.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about, this may come out of left field here, but I want to ask you about Halloween because
Okay.
last year, I mean, you went all out.
Yes.
Yes, you probably haven't thought about it too much yet because you're about to go to the Olympia, or maybe you have, but any plans for Halloween this year?
I don't know what I'm gonna do this year, but it's funny that you say that because I was just talking to my boyfriend about it. I was like, what am I gonna be for Halloween? I love Halloween because like, I'm very artsy crafty, if you haven't kind of put that together yet, but I love makeup. It's just kind of, I'm self-taught in it. And I like different costume makeup, and so that's why I think I love Halloween, because I really get to go all out with it and do all kinds of crazy things that I wouldn't be able to do on an everyday basis. I mean, I could, but people probably look at me a little funny. So we were talking about what to do. I heard Las Vegas has some really good Halloween parties. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to be here for Vegas or if I'm going to be back home in Portland for that holiday. We'll see. But I definitely know I'm going to dress up, and I have to pick something very creative that I can do because I got a top last year.
That's cool. Francesca, someone might be watching this video right now. They're thinking, I wish I had motivation to work out like her. What would you say to them?
I would say just one foot in front of the other. It's baby steps. The best way to start and the best way to find motivation, and this is what I tell a lot of my friends, family, clients, is to create a routine for yourself. Because I have the same problem, and I was, believe it or not, I was back in the day saying the exact same thing. I mean, when I started this, I saw a magazine with a girl who had abs and killer arms, and I was like, I want to look like her. I think I can. I'm going to try. And I started with the basics. My routine, and I'm not talking about necessarily just the gym routine, I'm talking about like my diet as well. I did the horrible thing of not eating breakfast. I had my coffee in the morning, and then I went to work, and then about 10 o'clock I'd have like a snack, and it was horrible. I thought I was eating healthy. That was absolutely not healthy at all. So coming up with a routine as far as, okay, I have my breakfast. Then I bring a snack with me to work. I would have my lunch with me as well. I'd have another snack when I get home. I get dinner ready, eat a quick, pre-workout meal, go work out, come back, have my dinner, and then pack everything for the next day. So a routine like that could really just set you up, and then rewarding yourself when you have stuck to your routine as well. And then add on to it, maybe add on, I'm going to now add in the gym twice a week, or I'm going to now add in a, a cheat meal because I've constantly been on this routine for over a month now. So, I mean, finding ways to just kind of organize your life. And I know sometimes that's hard for people because their schedules are always varied. But if you can find a way to set aside time for yourself, and I think it's really important for people to do this, and I see it a lot where people just forget about themselves all the time because they're constantly rushing from one thing to the other. But make time for yourself. And if it means, maybe not the gym, maybe if it's meditation, some kind of routine is a good step in the right direction. And so I guess that would be my best piece of advice to getting started.
Well, good luck at the Olympia. I'll be watching on the webcast like the million other people. And, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Bye.